You know how I so love to start off a program by saying, Good Friday to you. Just doesn't happen enough. Thanks for being a part of the program on this 5th day of August, where we've seen that warm, humid, massive air continue to linger, continuing to feed some showers and storms, and how that's going to linger into your Saturday. We're still looking at a pretty weak cold front that's going to roll in tomorrow. It will, however, give us a chance for some showers and storms and enough rain possibly to cause some flooding issues. We'll outline it in more detail in just a few moments. The good news is that after that cold front does go on through, it will leave behind some less humid air, and we've got some still nice conditions for your Sunday, low 80s and some sunshine, and we'll follow that pattern at least for a few days thereafter. As we're following the rest of the program tonight, the McGoffin County Board of Education met last night. We'll talk about items discussed therein, how they're disbanding, or if you will, the elementary football program. Revamping it might be a better way, but it's no longer going to be a county program. I'll explain it to you in more detail. They also spoke about penalizing our student athletes for absences and truancies in the school system. And we've got other coverage, including an interview with a charter member of the Appalachian Outdoorsmen Association. I was really impressed. This group has just been around for a few months. They've got hundreds of members, a beautiful, large piece of property that someone with similar interest has given them complete reign of in West Liberty, and they're not focusing on one outdoor activity. This will encompass and interest anyone who likes to do anything outdoors, from hunting to camping, RVing, what have you. It's really nice to see what they are trying to do and involving our youth in the same time. So that's where we'll talk about top news in just a few seconds. As far as headlines are concerned for this Friday, only a couple of others. A grand jury has indicted an Eastern Kentucky judge, executive, and road foreman. The reports are coming out of Clay County, where the sheriff's department there conducted a lengthy investigation, brought their findings before the grand jury, and they returned an indictment against both the county judge executive and the road foreman. Executive Joe Asher was indicted, as was Buford Jarvis, both facing 9 counts of abuse of public trust, bribery of a public servant, and criminal possession of a forged instrument. From what we understand, the indictment comes from incidents related to last year and this year, saying that they used public money and materials to work on private property and then billed those people for those services done and then kept the cash for themselves. Documents reportedly indicate that they on numerous occasions, for example, would install tile and or concrete barriers at residences and private property, and the homeowners would pay them in cash, sometimes a few dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars, and they would keep those funds and then alter purchase orders to cover their tracks. They're both facing 9 counts. Both were in police custody, we believe, as of airtime. Going to jail records, I couldn't find any photographs of them being booked as of 6 o'clock. We'll keep you up to date on that report. While Eric Kahn has a federal trial date set for, as I told you earlier this week, later on next year, he will have to appear in Floyd County Court in just a few days, the week after next, actually, as Kahn has been ordered to personally appear at a hearing in Floyd County. He will do so at the request of the court in regards to the case that was brought forth by Ned Pillersdorf, the attorney representing some 1,500 of Kahn's former clients who lost their Social Security benefits after he was accused of defrauding the federal government out of millions and millions of dollars. The hearing has been set for August the 18th in Circuit Court in Floyd County. Kahn is ordered to address the claims made on behalf of the attorney representing all those clients, that being Pillersdorf, that he has failed to comply with orders stipulated by the court. Give me just a second. A few words from some of those wonderful folks who sponsor this program and help us keep the lights on and keep you informed each and every night. We'll pick it up with our first top headline right after this. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Much of last night's McGoffin County Board of Education meeting, a special session, mind you, centered around our student athletes. One, doing away with the elementary football program as it is and evolving it into something else. And then talking about our student athletes in regards to unexcused absences and tardiness. Director of Student Services Brian Connolly informed the board that they are looking into cutting into truancy issues by updating and adopting new policies to penalize for school absences. In this particular occasion, they were focusing on student athletes, suspensions handed down for extracurricular activities, and losing their parking privileges. The proposal before the board was that after 6 unexcused absences, it would result in a penalty of 10% of their game schedule. For example, if the student played football, there were 10 games on the schedule. After 6 unexcused absences, they would be forced to sit out one of those games. However, for each unexcused absence over 6, that same penalty would apply for each one. The general consensus was that this was not a great deal to ask, considering that students are allowed 3 parent notes per semester, and a parent note could be good for 2 consecutive days. That equates to basically up to 12 parent notes, or 12 days missed with a parent note for the entire year. That doesn't include medical excused absences or the educational enhancement days.
And we're looking at student athletes, and I know that doesn't cover our entire student body. But I think it's fair to ask these students who are representing our schools. And for years, we've always tried to tell student athletes, you're role models for the schools. We know that we're going to probably face a firestorm for this, putting a lot of this in place. That at least that could happen. So we know strong communication has to be out there. This has to be strongly communicated up front, and we want that, of course, to be in a packet that's sent home, just like in the last board meeting we said we just want to send home the law on truancy and the no pass, no drive law, and we wanted parents to read that and confirm to us that they've read it by signing a contract. We want this to go home as well. We want this to be channeled through our coaches. Our coaches have to know this up front and channel this to our players, not just the sports that are coming up immediately, like football, but our coaches for our spring sports. They have to be on alert and be vigilant about their players and their attendance in school throughout the whole year.
After some consideration, the board unanimously approved those new policy changes to absences and excuses. They moved on to other business and entered into an annual agreement with Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. They also entered into an agreement with the company to supply uniforms for the cooks in the school system. And then they discussed our elementary football programs, considering combining the elementary football teams into district teams and the advantages that would entail.
Consider approving to combine the elementary football teams to one district team, which will consist of a 3rd and 4th grade team and a 5th and 6th grade team.
Mr. Ward, all 6, 7, 8 and 9 kind of relate together.
Okay.
And 10 actually. What it entails, now Mr. West here to speak on this back with me, but what it entails is we've been looking and speaking with our elementary principals concerning our football program at the elementary level. And once we moved our 6th grade into the middle school, I asked Mr. West to start looking around about scheduling games for each of our elementary schools. And what we found out, and he will go into a little bit more in depth on this, but I want to just lay out an overall thing, that it was going to be hard to get games for those students, because most of our middle schools are 7, 8 that surrounds us within a certain radius. And so most of them were going to play 6th graders against our 5th graders, and it wasn't going to be a competitive type game, or my concern was injury. And then we also looked at some of our schools and the numbers that they were going to compile to have members to play. And we had a couple schools that were going to be fairly decent and okay, but we had one that was going to struggle to actually maintain enough to have a football team. So yesterday, wasn't it, Mr. West, we met. I had Mr. West talk with the coaches of the 2 elementaries. One of the elementaries hasn't hired a coach yet, and we actually met with the principals here. And the reason I said all these intertwined, Mr. West is going to talk to you about what he did and what we're looking at is having one team, a 3rd and 4th, and one team 5th and 6th with a county team. And we're going to readjust that funding that you put out there to those positions, those 3 coaching positions at the elementary are $1,000 apiece. And what I'm asking when we get down to that is we're looking at having one 3rd and 4th grade county coach and one 4th, 5th, and 6th grade county coach. And that won't be the same person. There's 2 different individuals I'm looking at because time-wise they won't be able to put enough time in to take care of that. And then I'm going to take those funds and do $1,500, and that takes care of the salaries that you've already allocated out. Mr. West will go down and start talking about setting aside they wanted to, there may be an additional expense to the board, and it's going to be a minimal expense. I already have Mr. West checking on some stuff. We're going to use their bottoms of all 3 schools. We're going to come together, put their uniforms together. And the helmets will work, pads will work. The only thing that they've got to have is a jersey and some mouthpiece.
Athletic Director Neil West explained to the board that this was indeed football only. He also explained that all the coaches and all 3 elementary principals were in agreement. It was also understood that no players would be cut. Any elementary student who wished to play would play. And the advantages were in part outlined as cutting down the number of nights of football games and maybe even the number of games themselves, taking into account you're going from 3 schools basically to 1 district team. However, they believe this would make them more competitive on the road and would also help to build the program for any student who wished to go on to play high school football. And unanimous approval of the proposal was given by the board with their full support. From there, standard operating procedures, if you will, for this time of year. They entered into several annual contracts with no changes. They approved some fundraisers. They did also consider 2 bids that were submitted on the 2 double wides that were placed in front of the old Montgomery County High School, if you will, used as temporary classrooms. They received 2 bids for purchase of those 2 double wides, one for $50 and one for $1,600. With school quickly approaching and needing them removed, they accepted the bid of $1,600 and then adjourned following a brief moment in executive session. Still a really great interview that any outdoors enthusiast on any level will want to hear in just a few moments. Right now, before we go on to your community calendar, a reminder about a report that I aired last evening in regards to this man who authorities are hoping you can help identify. On the 19th day of July, this man walked into the Parkway Convenient Mart on Route 114, owned by Tom Marcelette, and passed a $100 bill. Only problem was it wasn't real, and the store was left holding the bag for that $100. Now, they caught the security surveillance image of the man they believe is responsible. They also saw that he left with other individuals in a white Oldsmobile Alero, a white 4-door sedan. They've been hoping that they might encounter this suspect or this individual or the vehicle since then, but they've not come back into the store. Now they're asking for your help in identifying this individual for questioning by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, who has the case. If you have any details or information about the possible identity of this individual or the possible description of the aforementioned car, that being the white Oldsmobile Alero, please call the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, or you can also call Mr. Marcelette or contact someone at the store as well. But right now, police are investigating the $100 bill, which was fake, and an assumption that more than likely they've passed fake bills, or he has possibly passed another fake bill elsewhere. Just a couple of quick reminders on our Montgomery Farm Bureau community calendar. Don't forget back to school night for North Montgomery elementary students this coming Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And this just in, the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church is hosting their summer bass tournament 1 week from tomorrow, Saturday the 13th, at the Alfrey Boat Ramp on Cave Run. Boats will launch at 6 in the evening, and they'll weigh in at 2 o'clock in the a.m. They'll also have the they'll also have their hourly $100 big fish prize. First place pays $1,000 and other big cash prizes as well. And if you've got any questions, call Tammy at 548-0118. And a little out of order, I almost forgot, the Stinson United Baptist Church is having their regular Sunday services this Sunday morning at 11, a fellowship meeting to follow at 6 o'clock that evening, and they hope that you'll join them. And one last reminder about services to be held tomorrow in honor of 52-year-old Luke Lewis of Mash Fork, who passed away this week, survived by his mother, Carol Sue Day, and wife, Dee Dee Trusty, son Chase, daughter Kaylee Dawn. Visitation will begin tomorrow morning at 11. A celebration of his life will begin tomorrow at 4, all from the Sagersville First Baptist Church all with the Montgomery County Funeral Home in charge of arrangements. How impressed I was by how far they've come in such a short time. But in only a few months, the Appalachian Outdoors Association already boasts hundreds of members, a large piece of property in West Liberty for outdoor events and outdoor sports of all kinds, and with a goal of giving them a voice in regards to laws and regulations affecting their common cause. They are also hoping to work closely with the Kentucky Fish and Game officials for the betterment of our natural resources and habitat improvement, and getting the youth more involved in the great outdoors. I got to speak today with one of their charter members from the organization, Eddie Jenkins.
Right now, we're trying to get the word out. We've started, this has been about 3 months. We've been up and running, and we've got a couple hundred members now. And we're affiliated now with the League of Kentucky Sportsmen and the NRA. We have sponsors like the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Girls with Guns, Gun Dog Supply, and a couple more sponsors. I can't remember them all, but and we're just trying to help out with the community, just getting everybody involved in the outdoors. And we have inside the club, we have about 7 or 8 divisions. I'm on the board of directors as small game and bird hunting. We have trapping, we have archery, shooting sports, we have large game, we have like herb diggers and camping, RV, stuff like that. And if anybody wants to join the group, you just come in and tell your opinions on it, and we vote on it, and we'll try to get it done. We get a lot of sponsors to help us, a lot of grants from different places and stuff.
And they've already had some big events, and they're hosting some more. In fact, part of their immediate plans includes a big bluegrass show 1 week from this Saturday. That's right, Saturday the 13th, and a shooting event in September that both sound like loads of fun. As for the Bluegrass Show, it's on their property in West Liberty. It's huge. They've got free camper hookups, providing water, sewage, and electric. They're going to have cornhole tournaments. They're going to have food booths. They're going to have a place for you just to have a wonderful time. They're going to have all sorts of entertainment, and it's all for just $10, and kids 12 and under are going to get in free.
We have some performers like Ernie Thacker's coming, and he's been out of the game a lot lately, but he's getting healthy again, so he's going to try to get back into playing a lot. And we're honored to have him there. We have CJ the DJ. We've got a local group like Black Powder Express from here in our county. We've got the West Liberty Mountain Boys. It's a fundraiser to help out with our youth things that we're wanting to have to come up. Like we're buying all this archery equipment for kids to where they can come, and we got a place where they can shoot in a safe environment. And we're going to try to get in to do some like shooting ranges, like squirrel shoots. The League of Kentucky Sportsmen provides us with all the 22 rounds that we can shoot. And kids can go and shoot at a target, and it's placed like, I think, 40 yards, and they can shoot all day at that target. And at the end of the sessions, they send them in, and then they're graded, and whoever does the best, they get trophies from the league, and they'll send them out. And then on September 17th, over there in West Liberty, we're going to try to have a fun field trial. It's going to be like a NSTRA style event, which is National Shoot to Retrieve. But this one, the dogs don't have to be registered or anything. And you pay $20, and that provides you with the birds, help with the fee for putting the birds out, planting them. And you'll run a 2-dog race. It'll be you against someone else, and then we'll have 2 judges, and you go for a half hour, and they judge you on how well your dog performs.
And you can be a part of all of this. The membership fee is just $35, and that's per family, regardless of the size of the family. And there's a much reduced rate for individuals as well. If you want to find out more about them in the short term, find them on Facebook under Appalachian Outdoorsman Association. You can find everything posted there, from hunting puppies for sale to all sorts of outdoors videos, and of course information about their organization and their goals. And speaking of goals, there is certainly one that they have at the forefront of their mission.
The real motivation was a club in this area that wasn't about one thing, that it encompassed all the traditions and all the things that sportsmen liked, or stuff that's actually dying off, trying to keep the new generation into it, and bringing new people in and just forming a club that everybody could have a voice in about anything you want to do in the outdoors.
Eddie also asked me to pass along his phone number. Pick the phone up, give him a call. 349-5725. 5725. Now we're going to wrap it up right now with your weather forecast, which has still much of the same trends that I've been focusing on for the past couple of nights. Mostly cloudy, partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, a 30% chance of some scattered showers, and a low of 70 for your weekend. That weak cold front tomorrow gives us a chance, a better than a little chance of some showers and thunderstorms, even to say they're quite likely tomorrow. Some folks might get under some isolated heavy rainfall, might even see some flash flooding out of this, or at least some potential. So keep that in mind for your Saturday's forecast. It could be kind of wet, and it could start to add up real quickly for some folks who get under those sails. 86-65. The good news is we've got some less humid air on the backside of that cold front, and you'll see temperatures knock off a couple of degrees, but it will feel even much more comfortable than that. Mostly sunny, low 80s on your Sunday, with only partly cloudy skies that night. And we'll start off next week in a flash, as it will be here and before you know it. On that same note, Monday, I think it's safe to say right now, partly sunny and right around 84 degrees, 20 to 30, more than likely % chance of some showers and thunderstorms. And that will be mainly in the afternoon, say after 2 and up until 9. On Tuesday of next week, mostly cloudy and 86, a 30% chance. Wednesday, 87, 68, mostly cloudy and a 20% threat of you know what. Well, that's a wrap. It's just Friday. I've already got a really great, positive human interest story in the works for, I believe, on Monday's program if it all works out. Just one of those sweet things that you'll want to see, and you'll only see if you join us then. For now, have a good Friday, have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.